The strange thing about people who love cats is that a lot of them didn't choose cats because they wanted constant affection. Usually it's the opposite. They got tired of relationships where attention always came with pressure attached to it. Tired of feeling emotionally responsible for everyone around them. Tired of conversations that felt loud even when nobody was yelling. And over time, they started feeling strangely comfortable around something quieter. Cats don't rush your emotional space. They don't force interaction every second. They don't need you to perform warmth on command. A cat can sit in the same room with you for hours without demanding anything, and somehow that feels calming in a way most people don't fully understand, especially to someone whose brain is always scanning emotional tension, because people who deeply love cats are often extremely sensitive to overstimulation. Not always visibly. A lot of them actually appear calm socially, functional, easygoing, but internally they notice everything. The shift in someone's tone halfway through a sentence, the moment a conversation becomes performative instead of genuine, the subtle exhaustion that comes from being around people who constantly need emotional reassurance. And honestly, after enough years of that, silence starts feeling safer than interaction. That's usually when cats begin making emotional sense. The strange part is that cats don't interpret distance as rejection the way humans often do. They understand presence differently. A cat can disappear into another room for hours and still return completely connected to you. For certain people, that feels deeply relieving. Because a lot of emotionally observant people secretly carry the feeling that human relationships require constant maintenance just to avoid misunderstanding. Constant texting, constant explaining, constant emotional signaling. Cats remove most of that pressure. You start realizing how exhausted you were by relationships where silence always had to mean something. Psychologists sometimes connect this to something called low-man attachment environments. Environments where emotional closeness exists without continuous social performance. And cats naturally create that. They stay near you without overwhelming you. They leave when they want space. They return when they feel safe again. Ironically, people who love cats often function the same way emotionally. They care deeply, usually more deeply than people realize, but they process emotions internally first. Which is why many cat lovers appear emotionally distant at first, not cold, just careful. They tend to observe before trusting, listen before speaking, think before reacting, and over time, their nervous system starts appreciating relationships that operate with the same quiet emotional rhythm. You can even see it in small moments. The way someone who loves cats often notices subtle behavioral changes immediately. A different meow, a change in sleeping patterns, a slight hesitation before jumping onto the couch. Most people miss those details completely, but emotionally perceptive people usually don't. Research around introversion and sensory processing has shown that some individuals naturally process environmental and emotional information more deeply than others, not dramatically, just constantly, and eventually they become drawn toward environments that feel emotionally predictable. Cats are predictable in an emotionally honest way. If they trust you, you feel it. If they don't, you feel that too. There's very little performance involved. And maybe that's part of the deeper attachment people rarely talk about. A lot of cat lovers have spent years feeling emotionally out of sync with the social world around them. Too quiet in loud groups, too reflective in fast conversations, too internally focused for people who only recognize emotions when they're spoken out loud. Then a cat walks into their life and somehow communicates affection without forcing language into it. No unnecessary explanations, no emotional theatrics, just quiet presence. And for someone who has spent years mentally filtering every thought before speaking, that kind of connection can feel almost unnatural in its simplicity. The strange part is that people often joke that cats are emotionally distant, but most cat lovers know that isn't true at all. Cats are actually very emotionally precise. They just don't offer connection indiscriminately. Neither do the people who understand them best.